When these two teams faced in 2023, CJ Stroud really had a breakout performance in a lot of ways, as did Nico Collins. That was the source of the thumbnail when Nico Collins, they're using a celebration that's since been banned, took dead aim on the Steelers, had 168 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. And the Texans did a great job of getting the ball out of CJ's hands quickly. He didn't get sacked at all in that game, just as CJ hasn't been sacked in the last 3 games through improved offensive line play, and then also CJ being really smart about getting rid of the ball quickly, or when something's not there, just throwing the ball away. We'll get to the defensive challenges that the Steelers pose for the Texans, but we'll start off with the offense, but not without a word from D'Amico first.
Yeah, our team is ready to go anywhere, anytime, any place. We're ready to go.
Yes! Let's do this, D'Amico! This is going to be a battle. These are 2 very evenly matched teams, a lot of similarities, and really the type of physical play that both these teams really aspire to. You're going to get a whole bunch of it on Monday night. But here's D'Amico on really he shares my sentiment on the first thing that pops out at you when you watch a few Steelers games offensively.
Yeah, when you first pop on the film watching the Steelers, the thing that jumps out the most, is their running back position. They have 2 guys, in Warren, you watch him run the football, it's really impressive to see a young guy run the ball the way he runs the ball. He's small guy, but he's tough. He's physical, runs it really well. And Gainwell, another receiver that steps in, and he's done a really great job as well running the football. But the thing where they make a lot of plays is, both backs, whichever guy's in, what they do with the ball in their hand once the ball is out. Aaron has done a great job of not making bad plays. He gets the ball to his check down very quickly, and those guys, make some productive plays off of catching the ball, even behind the line of scrimmage. They make a lot of guys miss tackles. They both have really good contact balance. They have the speed, the toughness, the physicality to really gain yards, after the catch, and they're top in the league at receiving yards after the catch. So it'll be a tough challenge to get these guys on the ground. It's going to take everybody from our D-line coming out of the stack, our second-level guys really securing the tackles as best we can.
Yeah, and that run after the catch is big for the Steelers. They're one of the best in the league at run after the catch. Texans defense is one of the best defenses at run after the catch. And I think all of you are thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Hey, whatever, a couple of weeks ago, Ashton Genty had the big touchdown reception. Yeah, the backers are going to be huge in this, and not just covering running backs at times, but just keeping them from getting that extra yardage after catch. All those highlights were from Warren. Slap either of those guys in. They both run really hard. They both break a lot of tackles. They're both really good at what they do. They're both averaging 4.5 yards per carry or more. I do worry more about their ability to as receivers than I do as runners. They're very good runners, but the Texans, by and large, have done a really good job bottling up running backs this year, to holding some of the best backs in the league to below their season averages. Against the Raiders, the one big issue was that there was no Azeez Al-Shire in the game. So with all 3 linebackers hopefully healthy, that shouldn't be as big a deal. But the threat of those running backs as receivers, it looms large. Jonnu Smith will also line up as a running back at time. They'll do some creative things. They use 6 offensive linemen a lot, not as frequently as the Texans. The one big difference is that the Steelers will run or pass about equally out of that formation, where the Texans tend to be more run heavy. The other big threat, and I'm going to include in this for offensively, the running backs, Aaron Rodgers, who you could see in a few of those throws, he's kind of making them off platform, side arming it, no looking, going against his body. He can still make all those throws. And some of the things that seem like they're simple, they're easy throws, it's short to the running back. He's doing it still with a little bit of his old panache. Doesn't do it as frequently, but he's still very capable of that. Likewise with DK Metcalf. Just watch some of the throws Aaron Rodgers makes to DK Metcalf and tell me if he's open or not.
And Metcalf gives them, their full offense, where, he lines up as an outside receiver. He does a, outstanding job of just playing physical. That's the one thing that sticks out for me with him. He's a physical receiver. Whether he's running the go ball, slants, whatever it looks like, he plays physical. So we have to challenge him. We have to definitely step up to the challenge there. And we have to play physical as well versus him. It's going to be a tough challenge. He's done a great job his entire career of making big plays, down the field. And I know they're excited to get him back because he's such a huge part of their offense. And Aaron will definitely look to go to him, a ton. So we have our hands full when it comes to just challenging him and trying to make a play when the ball is up.
So if we watch that last one there, if my microphone is on, just watch this throw by Aaron Rodgers.
And Aaron will definitely look to go to him, a ton. So we have our hands full when it comes to just.
That's a tight window throw right there. Those throws to the outside get real interesting because he's not afraid to take those shots. But Derek Stingley and Kamari Lassiter are both so good at those specific pass breakups. Kamari Lassiter in particular, where a guy like DK Metcalf that has that size has a good shot at the ball, but Kamari gets that arm bar up in there to break up the pass. There's going to be a few high wire moments on throws like that. DK Metcalf over the middle and his ability to run after the catch. Again, the Texans defense just has to do what they've been able to do all year, which is really limit the run after the catch. Aaron Rodgers is, man, like I've said before, Toby Keith, he ain't as good as he once was, but he's as good once as he ever was. And he's got DK Metcalf to throw to. It's a few of those crucial big-time throws in the game, whether it gets a pass breakup, whether Aaron Rodgers throws an errant throw, doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, as we know. It's that's going to be a fun battle between those three elements. Offensively, here's Nick Caley on the Steelers' defensive front.
This is going to be a tremendous challenge. You look at the edges. I think Hayward's playing as good a football as I can ever remember him playing. So they are an outstanding defense, and their front gets them going. So we got to be at our best.
Yeah, and if there's one thing about the Steelers' defense this year, we had Andrew Filipponi on earlier this week. He's a Pittsburgh radio host, known him for a long time. And one thing he said about the defense is that they've looked more and more like the defense they are on paper as the season has gone along. A lot of that has to do with the young defensive linemen coming along. I'm going to show you Cam Hayward because he's a name that a lot of people know. But he really, number 97 here in the middle, he's really tough. He's really physical. When you watch, they line up in a base 3-4 front a lot, which means that's number 97 right in the middle. But he's an interior defensive lineman, but he's going to line up head up on the offensive tackles a lot. In the run game, he, very much like Tommy Togiai, plays with really good technique. He's strong as hell. He can run down the line, but he can also get you good push up the middle. Knows when to stack and shed. Just everything a really tough veteran defensive lineman does. But in a base 3-4 front, those defensive ends are going to end up rushing on the guards a lot. So Titus Howard usually, if Titus is playing left guard, that's going to be his assignment and his challenge. The big question would be whether they end up having to come down and double team Cam Hayward at any point in the game. And if in the jumbo package, all of a sudden you've got Blake Fisher on Alex Highsmith or on TJ Watt, that becomes a concern. TJ Watt, I don't have any clips of TJ Watt in here. Look, he's not having his quintessential TJ Watt year. He did have an interception that was huge in the game last week, and he's still a very, very good football player. He's not, defensive MVP candidate like he was, but he's still TJ freaking Watt, and they've got Alex Smith on the other side. But the Steelers this year were 6th in sacks, right ahead of the Texans. They might have had one more sack than the Texans this year. And a lot of what they do is based on the blitz. Some of it's just flat-out guys kicking butt. Here's Caley on the blitzes, because we know for the Texans offense, the blitz has been a sore subject at times, especially on the road.
Yeah, well, we're always trying to learn. And I know a couple weeks back, I was asked about some of the pressures. We're always trying to work on issues that come up, correcting things, whether it's problem pressures, even things that come up throughout the league that we see that are trends and stuff. We're always trying to get ahead of it. So it's a matter of learning from our mistakes and being able to grow from that, and then being able to assess what each team's doing and put a good protection plan together.
Yeah, so, where are we? Come on. What the hell's going on? There we go. The Texans have improved as the season's gone along, and it's reared its ugly head, particularly in the third quarter against Kansas City. But then in the fourth quarter, CJ made some big-time plays on third down. They figured it out. They did enough to win that game. But if you watch the Steelers' blitzes, there's a whole lot of everything. They still do a good job. Deshaun Elliott coming here right at the snap. Does a somersault. Then Peyton Wilson does a somersault, and then Deshaun Elliott still gets a sack. I had so much fun watching this. I hadn't noticed it earlier in this. I hadn't watched this earlier in the year. But watch Elliott come up. They pick him up. He does a somersault, but then number 41, Peyton Wilson, watch as he delays it and then comes around, comes clean open, boom. And Deshaun Elliott gets it. Another nice one, I think, from the Vikings game. Was this the no, this isn't the one I was thinking of. But if we watch this from the very beginning. The protection on this one was good. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pass rushers. There's a man for everybody. But if we watch right there between the center and the left guard, they just don't handle that TE action. And that's another thing the Texans have improved at, just the communicating and passing that off. But you see big Cam Hayward and the nose tackle there. I think that was Benton. So Keanu Benton and Derek Harmon are the two young players who have come along as the season has come along. And then this one, you're going to see stats about how the Steelers are fifth or sixth in the league in blitz rate. That doesn't quite tell the whole picture. A lot of this is something you guys might remember from Wade Phillips. They're just in their 5 down front there. They've got 2 outside linebackers and 3 defensive linemen. And what that does is it just creates a lot of one-on-ones. So technically, according to the filter on NFL.com, that's a blitz. But really, it's just their 5 down front and guys winning reps one-on-one. This is another one. If you look at number 97 right there on the left of your screen, towards the left of your screen, this just turns into a natural twist. He comes around underneath, envelops the quarterback. The Nico Collins is going to be really interesting to see how the Steelers handle Nico Collins in this game. If we go back to the offensive side of the ball, Steelers have started running more zone in the second half of the season as they've dealt with a combination of injuries and inadequate play in the secondary. And I think that's probably what you would want to do anyway. I don't think there's going to be a boatload of opportunities of C.J. Stroud getting the ball to Nico Collins in man coverage. What C.J. has gotten a lot better at is spreading the ball around. You know, you talked about Jaden Higgins earlier this week and just how much more dependable he's become, how much more polished he's become. And it's going to be a physical football game. I'm very, very excited for this football game. More so, the more I watch and the more some of those old Steelers elements that you see, classic Steelers elements, it's going to be good because the Texans play that same way too. Rodgers always goes to his main target if he's in trouble. He always did it with Adams in Green Bay. What was this? He gets pissed if somebody drops the ball. Yeah. No, if we can get that version of Aaron Rodgers, if we can get him looking real surly on the sideline, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. I'm going to go take my recycling, and I'm going to react to some of the press conferences later.